You know, it's hard to imagine anyone in this biz putting out games at a rate like Allplay, which would be annoying if so many of them weren't also so good. And yeah, there's been some duds, and many are simpler, more filler games, but there's a huge market for approachable, innovative games, and they've been releasing some real bangers too. And now we got a brand new batch of small box trick takers simultaneously crowdfunded and now available, so we're going to tackle them in similarly statured reviews. Bacon! It's delicious, and so is this game, a shedding game for 3 to 6 where players are trying to ditch their hands by playing into a trick, combos of cards like pairs, trips, and runs until no one can put down a better scoring play. When the trick ends and the player to last play opens up another trick, with players scoring more bacon, aka points, the earlier in the round they ditch all their cards. The real trick is that the game splits between combos and fancier specials, where any special trumps any existing combos. Among this set, bacon is the easiest introduction to trick taking, such that it was my kids' first, and we as a family loved it. Energetic, creative, lots of strategic possibilities without being as cerebral as some others. To continue the food theme, next we're on to pies, which is the one that was the biggest miss. 3 to 5 players play tricks with suitless decks, so there's no trump to speak of, but in order of the highest cards played, players draft the cards that were played to their tableau, which also act as ingredients, recipes that can cash ingredients in for points, and possibly special powers like stealing cards, getting the very worthy good dog who protects you from thievery, represented by an enormous meeple in the deluxe edition, or getting some pie tokens which can increase the value of your play by a cute but bafflingly more complicated than it needs to be additional 3.14 per token. I get it, math jokes, but it seems a bit wedged into the crust without really providing much filling. I commend the multi-use cards, but a lot of the game feels forced, and the decision space, particularly at lower player count, feels just okay, especially if someone locks in the dog. Lunar is where things get a little weird. An astral-themed 2 or 4 player game, the tricks always consist of 4 cards among 2 teams, where one is the suit, one is the rank, with trumps set via elimination at the beginning of the round. Furthermore, scoring is cuckoo bananas as you wrap around a track, because if you get too many points, you can wrap back around into negative territories. Trick taking has always had an element of sometimes wanting to lose, sometimes wanting to win, but it's particularly tricksy here. This opens up some really nice, thoughtful, analytical, and strategic plays. This is the most ambitious and innovative of the bunch, and the most gamers game in the 4. I dig it, and the premium upgrades to metal tokens for a lot of the material is so cool. But this one really needs the right audience, and the restricted player count means that it could be hard to get to the table. Saving the best of the bunch for the last is Mori, beautifully themed around the mutual definition of the name in Latin as death and Japanese as forest. Mori is classic trick-taking with a dicey twist. 4 suits of cards representing the 4 seasons. When a player wins a trick, they can also draft a dice, which can be played in a later trick in place of a card even if you had a card on suit. This opens up a lot of strategic possibilities, especially when the cards themselves have leaves or skulls representing positives or negatives for whoever won the trick. Adding to that, players can stick in an X card or dice of no suit or value that goes to the winner. Not only does this give you control over when you have to play the cards you might otherwise have to play in hand, the players with the most scored decay at the end of the round lose that many points, but second most scores that many, adding a subtle but very important push your luck aspect. Add in that the trick suit is always trumped by whatever season precedes it, a la winter trumps fall and spring trumps winter. It's beautifully thematic, very accessible, and has lots of cool possibilities, and the best solo artwork is just the cherry on top. And there you have it, 4 tricky games, 4 tricksy reviews. Mori is obviously bae, but bacon is going to be sticking around as well. Pies, on the other hand, while I respect what it's going for conceptually, and I love that ding dang dog, it just doesn't hit. Lunar is going to stay on the shelf for a while to see how much play it gets in the future. I've had a lot of fun with it, and it's beautiful, but shelf space, even for small box games, comes at a premium, and a game that's harder to get to the table is harder to make a case to hold. But no matter how you slice it, I love that all four of these games are visually, aesthetically, and strategically distinct, and most, at least, account for a really good time. And that's our review, but let me know, which is your favorite of this batch if you played them all, or which are you most interested in if you haven't? Put it in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, and thanks for being such an awesome community. You know that I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald.